Hi, just a general question. How are you feeling about this match? Top of the table clash, obviously a lot riding on it.
Good. No, I was just saying I'm excited for the game. I think the team is excited. We've actually had some really good sessions last week as well during the international break. Obviously with a bit of a smaller group, but yeah, those are the games you love playing as a player. So hopefully we can do ourselves justice and give the fans a good game as well.
I mean, it might come down to small margins when it comes to who wins the title. Do you think it might come to small margins as to who wins this match?
Yeah, I think so. It's not without a reason that we both played 9 games and have 27 points, so the full score. So yeah, at the moment the only difference between us is goal difference. Luckily in our favor, and we intend to keep it that way. But in order for us to stay at the top, we have to keep winning, and that's what we hope to do on Sunday as well.
I mean, there's always going to be a bit of edge when you've got the top of the table clashing. But do you think there's added edge given that you ended City's dominance last season?
Yeah, probably. I think they probably want to take it away from us this year, whereas we intend to keep this record going. So yeah, I think there's obviously, like historically from the men's game, there's a lot of rivalry between Rangers and Celtic, but in the women's game, it's Glasgow City that's been the leading team for a large amount of years, and it's only recently that with Rangers we try to break their dominance. We managed to do so last year, but in order to do it again, we have to be at our best in all the games, and especially when we play against them directly in a direct match.
Hey Tess.
Hiya.
Tess, we've seen you obviously play a number of roles in the team this year, but with the centre-backs back, Kathy's back, obviously Lisa, Hannah, there's more depth there. It looks like you'll maybe move back into midfield. How much do you enjoy that role and being one of the senior players? Malky's talked about how important you are to the squad. Chance now to move forward up the pitch into midfield. Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, so obviously last game I already played in my natural position again, which was nice. Even though I did more than I thought I would enjoy playing as a centre-back as well. But yeah, it's nice to be able to in the middle of the park. I've enjoyed it since I was a wee girl. I was 5 years old when I started playing football, and I've always played on the midfield, just because you can both attack and defend. And as a defender, central defender, you give the ball to the midfielders and attackers, and they have to create chances and score. So yeah, for me, the midfield position is just the most exciting role. Hopefully I get to play there on Sunday and in the games to come with our centre backs being hopefully fully back fit. But yeah, like Marky spoke about, I'm really enjoying my football at the moment, being in that experienced role. It's just great that I can use all the experience that I've gained in the last 10, 12 years of professional football. To be hopefully to have an important role for this team. That's what I intend anyway. You have to show it in the big games as well.
How much of a boost does it give you and give the squad when you see Brogan Hay getting called up for Scotland and getting her first cap? Is that a big boost for the squad? Because they can then say, well, look, we are getting recognised here. This is the kind of targets for us. Is that a kind of driver for you as well as the good form of the club?
Yeah, totally. We're all delighted for Brogan, and we all felt that it was a very well-deserved call-up in the first place, and for her to get her official debut as well. We're all buzzing for her, and I think she's a great player, and she has shown that year in, year out for us at the club, and it's great that that's been recognised at an international level as well at the moment. We're just trying to push Chelsea Cornet into the Scottish team as well, because I think she deserves it too. But no, obviously the aim for a big club like Rangers is to have as many players as possible competing, not just at a domestic level, but at an international level as well, representing their countries. But yeah, at the back of last week, we're very proud of Brogan, and hopefully she can add a couple more caps.
Hi there. You've not only got a first v second game this weekend, but you've also got a derby against Celtic the following weekend. Obviously the top three are all professional, you're all pushing one another. Does one overshadow the other, or is Malky giving you the old routine that it's one game at a time?
Yeah, I'm going to give you a boring answer on that one, and especially given the fact that it's Glasgow City, you can't really overlook that game or overshadow that game by an old firm the week after. But obviously, just as like I said before, the big games, those are the games you want to play. So I'm very much looking forward to Sunday. Need to get the 3 points, but it's great to be able to host Celtic in our new stadium at Broadwood. Obviously, the men have a little break at the moment with the World Cup going on, so we hope to get as many fans as possible to the stadium. Tickets are only £1, so that shouldn't be an issue, hopefully, financially. We're already looking forward to that game as well. But like Malky will probably say to you afterwards, first Sunday.
In terms of watching the Rangers games, seem to adopt a very kind of relentless style, where you're pushing down the wings and switching it and whatever. In terms of the set pieces, you had a rather spectacular one in one of the games. Is that something that Rangers don't seem to rely on them too much? They seem to be more of a pass and move kind of team, but must be quite satisfying when you bring off a free kick like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I can't really say that I practiced on it a lot, to be honest. I just, it was there at the right spot at the right time, and I just hit it perfectly. But set pieces is definitely something that we train on a lot. But like you said, ideally we want to, attack through the wide areas, get a cross in, or play through opponents and try to break their lines. But in order to be a winning team and to stay a winning team, you have to score at as many different ways as possible. So set pieces is a very important part of our game as well. And I think with some of the new players coming in, we've gained a lot of good headers as well. Lisa Martinez, Hannah Davidson, they can score goals for us, and they have done so. So that makes us even more of a threat in the air as well. So that only hopefully adds to our relentlessness, like you mentioned earlier.
And lastly, I haven't really talked to a player since you guys went out of Europe. And now, obviously, in the women's game, there's the domestic scene, quite a few people involved, internationals. But the European League, the Champions League seems to add a little bit more of a dimension there. In terms of the group, the way you went out, was that difficult to take, or do you see that as being, you've had a taste, you've had a challenge? Is it something that the girls have talked about internally about what they're going to do next year, or hopefully do next year? Yeah,
so it's obviously a massive motivation for us to try and become, to win the league again, in order to get hopefully a little bit of an easier way into, hopefully the Champions League group stage, because that is, our longer term end goal. It's quite tough. Obviously, there are only 16 teams that qualify for the group stage. So ideally, I would like UEFA to organize Europa leagues and conference leagues, not just for the men's game, but for the women's game as well. Because I think, we would be able to, host some great games, even for the sub-top teams that maybe are just not at that top level yet. But coming back to the feeling that we had after being knocked out by Benfica, I was devastated, to be honest, because that's the stage where you want to show and prove yourself, and especially, if you want to learn to play against different styles as well, those are the games you want to play. Domestically, we play against a lot of teams with a low block, for example, but Benfica gave us something completely different. We were devastated when we got knocked out, but it's also in itself a motivation to hopefully try and do it again, and then even better next season. But we need to become champions first in order to get into that champions path. It's quite complicated. I don't know if you have looked into it, but that's our driving motivation for this season.